Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid, and I'm joined once again by Maryland.
Howdy, gamers.
We have a new turn. It's turn 87, and I was thinking we would get a few turns of nothing happening, but that doesn't appear to be the case. Uh, Last turn,
Before we,
Pelagia
yeah,
poked Pangaea, right? That was pretty much all that happened.
he did a couple of pokes. Yeah, he popped out of the water briefly.
But it didn't look very successful.
No,
He lost one stack with a fair number of mages to a big pile of Maenads.
yeah, they
He,
were pretty low commitment, all
yeah,
of them.
sure.
Um, and I remember, I was asking myself, and I think we talked about it. What exactly is his purpose here, um, in poking it? Like, what is he trying to accomplish other than just a bit of harassment?
Yeah, he sent us a pretty long set of messages last turn, which is not something
Hmm.
we've come to expect from Pelagia to kind of explain his reasoning. And a lot of it had to do with he was trying to figure out how to get the game to play out how he wanted it to, with having Nexus up and then wishing for Armageddon, but he wanted to have
Yeah,
Gift of Health to protect all his mages.
right.
And he couldn't
And
figure
that,
out a good way to get it with all the blood globals up.
right.
And
Yeah, I mean, it's the global market, I guess call it a market, is a little saturated at the moment.
yeah, yeah, it's and you have. I mean, and he's got to worry about if he puts too much in it, he might overcast Nexus, which he doesn't want to do. If he puts
Right.
too little in it, it'll bounce off a blood global, and it could bounce into Nexus. So then he was like, "Well, I need to dispel things," and then that gets complicated because I don't think you can dispel the same turn you put it up, or if you do, you still run a risk of the order they process that it does.
Well,
Yeah,
and we know that astral corruption's up with 800 slaves, so there's no way to overwrite it with normal gems. I mean, that's just not going to happen.
yeah.
Nobody's going to have. I mean, you need it's a base of 150 or more, so you need like 650 plus the base
Oh,
to
you
get an
don't know
overwrite
about the
like
change
that.
they did. Illwinter actually nerfed blood globals. Um,
Well, I knew they increased the price.
no. They every overcast slave is now only worth half a gem for dispel for competing purposes. So
Oh,
in
okay. Yeah,
so
I did know
oh,
about
you
that.
did,
You're
okay,
right. I
yeah.
forgot. I did. I just forgot.
Just hide it
But
all the
even
way in
then,
there. Yeah, even then it's a
you're
ton.
still you're still looking at 300 overcast,
Yeah,
and none of these nations are big enough to be making 60 or 70 of any specific gem a turn. So,
yeah. I mean, Pelagia could do it, but the question is, would they? I don't think they would, because it's just
I think it's
even if you could, it's not worth it.
I think it's more effective to do a targeted dispel.
Yeah. So we get a message from Pangaea. You want to do us the honor here?
I will. I'm trying to bait fire from the sky and mine hunts this turn by a stealthing in guys with fire resist gear and stealthy astral threes with vulnerable looking raiding parties. Oh, okay. Now we get a bit of a better idea of what he was kind of trying to do. Not actually looking for a major engagement yet, though I might lose some stuff on the Throne of Death this turn if he brings a Master and Slave caster. Call that group a moderate commitment to see what Pelagia is going to bring. My expectation is that something that expensive is going to wait until after he's seen the army, and preferably after he whittles it down with fires from the sky. Hence why I think I can get away with this. So this is a tactic that I like to do is try to, try to bait somebody to do something. So then you could kind of evaluate their scripts,
Yeah.
have a good examination of what they can do. I like this. This is good.
Yeah, and different people play differently too. What we've seen from Pelagia so far this game is he likes to he likes to see what you're bringing before, like he doesn't just want to have stuff randomly sitting out there patrolling, waiting for whatever comes. He wants you to bring your army in, he wants to see what you've got, and then he wants to come up with a specific plan to deal with it. And so Pangea is saying because he's probably going to do that, I don't expect to see the army on top of that turn patrolling or anything.
No, no, exactly.
And because this is mostly one conflict, Pangea versus a few guys, I think we just do it from this screen. That way we don't have as many spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably a good way to do it. Oh, but before you do that, could you
Yeah.
go to that Throne of Death briefly? Because he talked about the Throne of Death, so I'd just
Well,
like to see
I
where
don't know
that is
which.
on the
Well,
map.
if we go to it, then it's going to spoil it if I go out of this.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well,
Never mind. Just let's keep a note that we want to look at that
Yeah.
or when we see it.
Yeah. The Throne of Death is this throne on the southern side of the lake. So this is
Right.
a Hordes from Hellcast, which is a remote blood cast, and he's also Cloud Trap pieced in an Air Mage to go with them. And it's just the tiniest bit of PD here. So he's actually,
Overcommitted a bit.
overcommitted a bit,
Oh, and that dummy.
Oh,
So he's gonna
waste,
burn his gems.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, bummer. This thing about how much PD when you've got a little army will trigger gem use is frustrating to understand. I tried to read it, and the math is quite complicated.
Yeah.
So for now,
I would just say if it's a small force and you're sending a mage in, what I have noticed is if it's small versus small, almost always, unless it's like 1 or 2 or 3 PD, you're gonna use gems.
Yeah, and that's kind of a bummer because in this case, he sure didn't really need those arrows.
You're right. He really didn't. He really did not.
But the math of that calculation, the other calculations for gem use on how many items or stuff are easier to work through.
Yeah.
But the wiki page on that one is weird. So why are these horrors just sitting there?
Well,
those are the ones with
these are the spine membrane ones. They have Mind Blast.
Right. Okay. I was just thinking, why are they sitting there? And of course, they've got stacked
fear and ethereal, and they, like most horrors, they have decent protection. So,
do you get those from the cheap cast horror, or does that have to be the big one?
Yeah, those are Send Lesser Horror. Right? And
great.
The way Pan is doing this is almost certainly it's some of these adepts of the whatever order. And because I think he's got a couple kinds. I think he's got the earth and the fire kind, and he's empowered them in blood.
Right.
Because this is not something Pan can do easily normally.
No, but horrors are so cost effective for the purpose of raiding.
And this is Arco casting this. So yeah, this is Ghost Riders. And this is a brutal spell for raiding. So these are not owned by Arco. These are indies that Arco summoned. And it's commanded by this dude who's immortal. Not that it matters because he disappears after battle. But he's a beast. It's basically a Timu without magic paths.
Yeah, that's an expensive spell, but it's very, very effective. People talk about Tartarians if you get up to Conjuration 9, but I like this spell better than Tartarians.
Yeah.
I mean, they're uses, but it's always a case of how much death am I gonna, what death magic, or where am I gonna spend my death magic?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to find a use for these. I mean, they really almost will kill indiscriminate large amounts of PD. Like 30 PD, this would kill. And
I've seen the Wraith Lord thug it out against quite amazing things.
Yeah.
Before he gets wiped out. Or even if all the riders die off. So, yeah, and it's only 5 gems. It's just...
Is it just 5? I can't remember. Is it 5?
That's what it says here.
Ghost Riders, 5. Yeah. That's super cheap.
But it's Death 6, so that's not easy.
Right.
Like getting to Death 6 is a Lich with 2 boosters, and the second boost costs a fortune.
And, it's 5 gems you're never going to get back. So, if you run it, it's maybe not the most effective thing to just run into some random province with 6 PD, No. But if you know you're hitting a heavier target, but a target this can kill, it's a kind of good spell.
Well, and because it's neutral, I believe if you cast it at the same time as a horror, they end up fighting together.
I think you're right. Sometimes I can't remember. It used to be the horrors would fight each other. If you cast multiple horrors, they would kill each other. I don't know if the horrors are allied with other types of indies, but it would be fun to test.
Well, there's certain indies, not indies, but certain things come under that gray neutral flag. and there's some details involved in that. I used to try to mess with that, which does not include your normal defenders, really.
Yeah.
But it does include, like the other one is, what's the great big blob you can summon? What's that thing? What's it called? Why am I drawing a blank here?
The blob you can summon?
That wanders around neutrally until it gets big enough.
Oh, the abomination thing.
No, not abominations. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, it's not that thing. What is it?
No, it's death. But death. Or is it astral? No, you looked at astral. Water?
It could be an enchantment, maybe. I thought it was
no,
conjuration.
It's conjuration spell. Why am I?
It might be nature. No,
I think it's water and death or something.
Water and death.
Oh
no.
Why am I not finding this stupid thing?
Eater of the Dead is what it's called. I can't remember.
Eater of the Dead. That's what I'm thinking of. Where is that stupid thing? Anyways, it shows up as neutral.
It might be blocked for our nation here. No, the Eater of the Dead, I think, it's yours for a period, and you can feed it. It's a unit. It's not a commander. But once it gets to, every time it gets enough HP, it'll evolve to the next size. And once it gets to the final size, it goes independent, and it rages around and kills stuff. And then you can't control it. So I think a lot of times the way you use that is you use it as your thing, and once it starts getting close, you make sure you're doing very deep raiding into the enemy lands, so that when it goes free, you don't have to deal with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a kind of hilarious kind of thing. But I was just brought it up as an example of, various ways you can muck about with the neutral flag things.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Astral 4, Death 4. So not easy to cast.
Either. Yeah. Okay, so this is interesting. This is a Ring of Returning Lore Master. And this is he's put with this gear on him to make him higher hit points. It looks like Sai forgot that this doesn't actually apply till next turn. So you actually want to pre-apply it. So he could... The idea is with Ring of Returning, you don't want him to get one hit killed or he'll lose all his gear. But if he gets hit in melee, he's probably going to die and lose all the gear. Okay, fortunately it routes everything, so...
Yeah, so that worked.
That worked. It was close, though. The other thing you can do is just put Mist Form on maybe round 2, and then do another Air Elemental, but... Because Mist Form's a pretty good way to use, or combo that with Ring of Returning. Okay, so this is pretty effective, kills a couple hundred gold of stuff about.
It's in the water, too. So he's dunking himself raiding into water.
Oh, no, this wasn't. Right? This is... No. These were amphibious, but you can see the PD is land-based.
You're right.
Then horror attack here. Let's see what kind of horrors he gets. Oh.
What?
Oh, wait, no, this is... I'm sorry, this is Verse Pangaea. So this is...
That's...
Pelagia's cast this twice now.
Yeah, so that's another Ghost Riders.
And these guys, I'm not sure what these mages are doing. They're not scripted for anything.
Maybe they were just moving.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hurt.
That's painful.
5 gems to kill 2 magi, that's a good trade.
Yeah. I mean, what's the gold? So if these are, how much gold are these? So let's say it's 250 gold of stuff, and then 5 gems, so it's 50 gold a gem. Plus he denies the province. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay.
Water. Here's something in water. That's a serious invasion.
Yeah, so he's got a Demon Lord with the Sea King's Goblet. I think this is forted.
That's a Demon Lord?
Yeah. This is Grayon, I think. Yeah. Or Garyon. Yeah.
Right.
Some friendly fire here. Whoops.
Yeah. Oh, he's using Demon Knights. You said you wanted to see them again.
I did. Here they are. I think...
Which kind of implies Pangaea has Pedestrian.
Yeah. Oh, that hurts.
That's Pedestrian's the easiest way to get Demon Knights. There's other options. Well, I think a Pandemoniac they come with They come with Earth.
Yeah, he can get them from the pans.
Yeah, it's pretty easy for him.
Yeah. Yeah, the Pandemoniacs, and he could also blood and power a pan if he really wanted to.
Or empower a pan.
So, okay, so he goes underwater with this. He loses 2 Demon Knights, friendly fire to the Storm Demons. You can see the Storm Demons did a lot of killing. I think in this case, especially if you didn't... maybe there could have been mages here. If there were mages, it's good to have them on fire. But if you're worried about friendly fire, you can just set the Storm Demons to hold attack rear or something instead of firing. But... He should have given this guy a good name, like God of Many Deaths or something.
Yeah, I don't know what you say about that.
I don't know.
It's just kind of the weirdest thing to be doing is just continuously calling God.
He needs to do... I hope he needs to do a goddamn rescue operation. Come on.
I know.
The Restore the Great Might of Uruk.
It's pretty funny. I'm getting a kick out of this.
Yeah. All right, this is what you were wanting. Oh, wait. Oh, this isn't.
Is this the Throne of Death?
So he's got a Watcher here.
Oh, a Watcher. Oh. He was a Raider boy. What's that?
He was a Raider boy.
She said C.
CY.
Oh, CY.
Okay, so he's got probably enough shock resistance here. Maybe.
That's a serious kit.
Okay, because he's probably going to do Iron Skin, too. So it's only going to be 10. He can still get hit by... Frozen Heart. But he does have some cold resistance.
Oh, so it's targeting cold resist fire.
I don't think he's going to make this.
Yeah, touch and go.
Yeah.
Oh, he ran away. He lived, but he ran away. The Frozen Heart hurt him.
The Frozen Heart hurt him. He also took some damage from this guy, too, so...
From the Watcher, yeah. That was Lilidor, right?
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. And this guy might have died. I think this was a kind of deep raid for... We'll have to come back and look.
Oh, this is against Ind.
This is against Ashdod. This is another... oh, no.
Oh, Ashdod.
This didn't trigger Gymnius.
Oh, this was another one of these transfers, and it failed. What the heck?
I think it is one of those things.
Yeah.
Didn't trigger Gymnius.
So...
-8 mages.
Oh, bummer. Bummer. Oh, the Vamp Lord had nothing on it.
Yeah. I mean, these are like weird little threshold things, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some RNG in this too. So it's just...
Yeah.
Illwinter's done a pretty good job of making the gym baiting thing reasonably opaque. Because this is essentially like a gym baiting threshold question.
Yeah, it's not the stupid easy thing it was, some months ago.
Yeah.
When did that patch come through with that adjustment? Was it about May? Something like
Yeah,
May?
something like that.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a bunch of the Ill-Earths, which... can you summon these permanently? I don't think so. I think only Podesian can, right?
No, I believe it's a spell.
Really? Okay. I thought it was only combat.
No, Summon Ill-Earth is an ordinary Blood 5 spell, and it costs 2 slaves.
Are you sure it's not combat only?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
It says combat. Yeah, it's combat only. And Father Ill-Earth...
I think Ill-Earth has it as an ability, right?
Yes, his summon allies are Ill-Earths.
Okay.
Is that worthwhile? Maybe. If he's
not, you don't have something better to do. Maybe. Yeah, it's probably better than researching.
For him,
yeah.
And I'm not fond of him as a thug.
Yeah.
Some people are, but I'm not, because I want him around for making Demon Knights.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the number one thing he does, or forging bloodstones. Both of those are things he does just exceptionally well.
Okay, so this is him twice boarding a dude, getting him off the payroll.
Okay.
That was into Olm, and then we have a battle here with Pelagia underwater now. This is our another one of our, I think our second underwater
Whoa.
attack.
And it's the ghosts. Or some ghosts. Is this the Merc ghosts?
No, I think this is I think he's just summoned them. Yeah, he's got a lich here and
a pan. Wait,
I
he's
don't
gonna do some earth elementals. Looks like was in the plan if he needed it.
Yeah, he doesn't look. What did he cast? Oh, he cast Army of Lead. Okay,
Army of Lead. Oh, okay.
that'll do it.
Yeah, that'll.
Ghosts.
Oh, that's a great
Ghosts with
option.
Army of Lead are not gonna
Yeah.
care about that much over here. So
yeah, good move.
Coming down, Lake Vastness.
And this is just.
I mean, if you think about this from Pelagia's perspective, I mean, he picked this fight with Pan, right? But you know, he's but also Pan was stitching together a coalition to attack him.
Well, Pan's raiding in the water a lot better than I thought he might.
Yeah.
So he was ready.
He was ready
for his water raiding.
Yeah, and that probably confirms in Pelagia's mind that there was a coalition being stitched together. Because the water items already existed. He didn't have to wait a turn in fortune.
Interesting that he's got mass devils as well.
Yeah.
Oh. And just run away.
Yeah.
Ooh, does he make it?
All right, so this is the Throne of Death.
Right.
What's weird is he's trying to bait out flames from the sky. I don't think this is what you send in to bait out flames from the sky, because there's a bunch of fire-resistant shit here. You know, and I don't think it's enough mages that it really warrants the cast.
Yeah. So that was Pan said he wanted to bait out flames from the sky, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is where I would target flames from the sky, like a huge stack of Maenads. Or, oh my god, there's a lot of troops. The Pangaeans are multiplying, oh my god.
Yeah, there's some big stacks
Look at all of this. It's so much stuff. Oh man, I'm really, you know, the last time we talked about it, I thought Arco was going to win. I'm starting to get one over to side Pangaea. It's just that he's got a big economy behind him, man.
He does. It's huge. It's huge. Can we check the globals for a second? Okay, so no change there.
Yeah, I think this is the same.
All right.
So he's just put a world of pressure on, and he's been much more effective than Vanheim was in the first turn of his conflict. You know, he's not under committing. He's committing very carefully. Right. And it's never the same thing. You know, it's like, here's hordes from hell, here's ghost raiders, here's a demon lord with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, he did a few thugs in another place. Yeah.
It's really interesting plays here.
If we look over here on the Vanheim side, Vanheim's got a ton of troops and he's just building up.
Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of recovery to do.
I wonder if he's going to go on Ashdod. I mean, for Vanheim, it would be perfect if Pangaea fights Pelagia and he eats one of the weaker nations.
Yeah, so I think we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Well, either one of them eating one of the weaker nations. But that was prior to this serious Pelagian Pangaean war getting going.
Yeah, but think about the other thing, too. I think this highlights one of the issues with defensive pacts. So Olm and Ashdod have a defensive pact. So if one of them gets attacked, the other will declare war, right? And the idea is if they do that, they're less likely to get attacked. The problem, though, is like Olm declares war on Vanheim. Does that mean Olm is going to go on the offensive and start putting big armies, like major commitment armies that Vanheim will have to mobilize huge forces to deal with? Does that mean he starts putting them on Vanheim forts? I mean, I don't think Olm wants to do that at all. Not yet, anyway. But
no. Yeah, and see, it's possible that Vanheim could defeat both of them by doing a push in one direction towards one of them and then just slowly defending the other side. Then he wipes out one of the two in the pact. That one's over. And then he can focus on the other one.
Yeah.
With with Pangaea now busy, this is kind of a prime opportunity for him to eat somebody.
Yeah.
And I would probably pick, if I was Van, I would probably pick Olm as the
You'd pick
target.
Olm.
I think I would. If I was thinking about, okay, can I grow
Yeah.
here? And which way is the easiest growth? Because Olm is so vulnerable to astral corruption, it makes Olm arguably an easier target.
Okay, so if we... Oh, who did I leave? Satis. Monkeys. Okay. If we look at it, Ashdod and Vanheim, they're close enough. Yeah. Ashdod's going to have enough tech, and he's got all these Seir and stuff in the shed.
Mm-hmm.
That actually may be the harder fight. And I think I mean, the benefit of attacking Ashdod is I think Olm is less likely to give you a good hard pounding from the backside. I think if he attacks Olm, I think there's a decent chance these armies of Shed and Seir mobilize on your border.
It's another way to evaluate it, and I think your evaluation is valid as well. So,
yeah,
you could take on the harder one and then hold off slowly the weaker one.
Yeah.
Or you could take on the weaker one and hope you can finish it quick.
Yeah.
The one thing I was thinking about is Vanheim has shown a very big interest in using a lot of storm demons. Well, they're not going to be as effective against Ashdod.
Yep.
Because we know Ashdod has lightning resist into bless.
Yep.
Plus he's got Seir and sheds.
Yep. That's a very good point.
That's one of the things I was thinking. I mean, the Great Eagles, well, they're just siege chaff. And so they're not all that relevant.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, Ashdod is definitely powering up now. I mean, this is a much scarier Ashdod than we saw when he was just sitting on Zabalba's capital.
Well, glance at his army graph for a second. I bet you it's shooting way up.
It's a steady rise. I mean, he's number 2. He's number 2. Yeah. That's not nothing. Mm-hmm. And his quality is amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. His quality is way up there. Olm's quality is not great.
Yeah.
I think it's changing.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to see if we spot any interesting... You saw Mechanical Man in Olm.
Devils.
Oh, Corpse Constructs. Well,
Black Knights. Wait, what?
Okay.
This must be an army size inflation item or something. You don't make... This isn't Black Lords, it's Black Knights. You don't make Black Knights this late in the game, right?
Yeah. Well...
Like, why would you make these guys late in the game? They're 45 gold.
Other than a few of them for that raiding thing.
Right,
like
right, yeah.
With a couple Black Knights.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of them, but maybe he's got some army graph items.
Yeah.
I'm not... Oh, Marshmaster.
Okay, here we see a bunch of things. He's got a bunch of mechanical men.
Corpsemen. Well, Corpsemen are pretty solid if he has to fight Vanheim, or, if he's got to deal with lightning bolts, Corpsemen are immune to it. Yeah. I mean, they're just sacks of meat, but they're big hit points and they make a good chaff line. And they're dirt cheap.
All right, so this is the question, Maryland, I think, is we know there was talk of a coalition, and the coalition was to include Ashdod and Olm and Pangaea against Pelagia.
Correct.
Do we see, and it looks like we might, do we see Ashdod roll out? And do we see Olm roll out? And are they going to go in a united front?
Well, that army of Olms on that throne that he took from Sidis has Mechanical Man.
Yep.
And Corpse Constructs. Manticores.
Yeah.
Manticores. Buffed. Those could be quite effective.
10 Manticores. Wow, yeah.
Well, they're not great just generally, but
yeah,
if I remember well, they buff. Oh, why can't I find them? Oh, I got National only set on. So, I've used Manticores in the past. Let's see. So they cost 5 nature each. You get one at a time. Earth 2, nature 2. So this is where, because he grabbed the gnomes in that throne has gnomes.
Right. Yeah.
That might be why. But they have fear of 5.
Yeah.
They resist poison, so they're excellent against any kind of poison plays.
Yeah.
They take a long time to mass.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to buff nicely.
Yeah.
They've got 3 attacks.
Yeah. They seem like a good choice. What's their MR?
14 base.
Yeah, it's fine.
And morale of 14. And they're disciplined, and they fly.
Well, I think the core problem for Olm in this is they don't have a lot to gain. Because these forts are going to be very hard. And I would be, if he takes these, I would be very impressed with him. I don't think he can. I think Olm will, just judging everything in this game, I think Olm will not make progress on this front. He could, I think, raid land, right? So if these were unforted things, I think he could probably take it. Like he could probably take this and this. Taking forts from Pelagia, that may be a little bit beyond Olm at this point, unless there's been a major upgrade.
Who the heck is pillaging Pelagia?
Oh, that was something else. He's got tarts. I went and checked this a second ago.
Oh, so a crazy tart. Okay.
Yeah, so you remember he had Gift of Health, so he was aiming to get into tarts. Right. Now,
right. So he's
lost
tart.
it. And so it's going to be, he's debating, how do I get Gift of Health back? And that will probably determine how many tarts he makes too. So,
well, maybe that's why we're seeing Ghost Riders, because he put himself up. He built himself liches with all the boosters to summon tarts.
Oh, yeah.
And now they don't have a job. So manifestation is a great option.
Yeah.
That's the other, and we wouldn't see that. That's very cost effective.
Yeah.
So manifestation and Ghost Riders. The other large death spell I tend to like, and not everybody agrees, but I think Legion of Whites is a cost-effective spell once you get Conjuration.
No, I like that too. Yeah.
And Whites buff like crazy. They have Bane Blades.
Yeah.
They have stacking Chill Aura. They could be scary.
Yeah, they're good. I think you just have to keep them not getting too clustered for like Witherbone spam and stuff. But if you can spread them out enough or have them mixed in with other things that combine well with them that aren't vulnerable to Witherbones, they're really good.
Well, anything with some cold resist, or if you have cold resist on your blasts. Like one time I used Whites combined with Ogres to hold a gate.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Ogres have just enough cold resist. The Ogres are garbage mostly, but the 5 cold resist is enough for them to stand there and hold a gate and support the Whites.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's been good to have a chance to, do a little analysis on particularly Olm and Ashdod.
Yeah.
Because we kind of knew what Vanheim was going to do, which was rebuild his armies.
Right. Well, and I'm waiting with bated breath to see what they do, because it may be a little bit of a fool's game for Olm to get in this war, because I don't think it's going to pay for itself for him, and he's not going to get a lot of the spoils. For Ashdod, I think this is a great opportunity. And for Pangaea, I'm just excited. This is such a cool war to see Pangaea fighting.
If you look at Ashdod's border, it's kind of unprotected. Whereas Olm's, as you mentioned, is heavily fortified.
Right. Yeah, so Ashdod also stands to lose more.
True.
But stands to gain more. So we'll see. All right, well, I think that's probably it. We're at 35 minutes.
Yeah, it's fairly short. Got any? I was going to ask you, what do you think well, you had already mentioned you think Pangaea is now kind of shifted into number 1 position.
Well, I said last episode that I think he is position 1, but I don't think anybody can win. Pangaea kind of could win. I don't think really anybody can win with Pelagia in the game. I think they're too good at spoiling.
Yeah. Boy, this game could go a long time.
Yeah.
This could go a very long time.
Yeah, it could. But
alrighty.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll just have to see. It's gonna be. But there's already so much there's already so much Cancer out. We already have Astral Corruption and Nexus out, so we're already deep in Cancer territory. And Pelagia's talking about Armageddon spam too. So, I mean, this game is headed. It is on a trajectory for the deepest, darkest places that Dominions has.
Yes.
So
in Dominions 5.
Right.
Not quite as deep and dark as the old crappy Dominions 3 stuff.
Yeah.
I had one more thing I just wanted to mention. Now, this was a past episode that's currently up, but there was another talk about Mindhunt, and I think, if we can get any of the players to say, "Are you mind hunting?" Let us know, because we can't see. And is it working? We did have the comment that Pan is trying to draw out some mind hunters and tuck in some hidden astral magi.
Yeah, this would certainly be one of them, right? Like a lich and a pan. They can isolate the ghosts. Pelagia is like salivating over mind hunting it. But this one's so obvious, you kind of almost expect with a player like Sai, there's going to be something stealthy behind it.
And most likely, he summoned a bunch of spectral mages, because they're one of your easiest ways to get an astral mage. They're not cheap because of the randoms.
Well, he can also do shade mail too, and just stick it on one of these guys.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. So this was just a topic that came up. It's a few episodes back in the actual current publishing, but I thought it was worth mentioning that we are in the active mind hunting stage of the game.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
We should be seeing it.
For sure. I'm going to be interested too to see. I feel like a goal would just be to depopulate. Well, this is the thing too. You have to worry. Like, I've talked a lot previously about depopulating underwater. We're a little late in the game for that. It's turn 87. But the thing you do too, if you depopulate underwater, it just makes Pelagia care even less about spamming Armageddon. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword there. But
you mean say Pangaea casting leprosy?
Yeah, or Black Death, or even just pillaging or raiding or whatever it is, like actively destroying the population. Because
that's an interesting thing we haven't seen any of is Bane Venom charms or leprosy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the goal when you're raiding into Pelagia isn't really resource extraction underwater. It's not like, how can I get all the resources underwater has to yield? It's just mostly denying it from Pelagia. So if you could... there's things you can look to do. Like maybe you move a huge stack of maenads down here, right, with some supporting magi, while at the same time you try to lock down with magic phase or something all these forts because he's not expecting it, right?
Right.
And that gives you carte blanche to come down here and pillage this almost to zero in one turn.
Yeah, trash it. Yeah.
But you can start doing stuff like that to deal with... You can tell I've been very salty with underwater before, but where I'm not even like dreaming these things up. These are things that I've done on multiple occasions. Like, I'm gonna get these guys, these assholes who keep raiding me.
There's a long drawn out debate that started way back with the underwater game improvement mod and various attempts to try to solve the land to water interface problem. And it's pretty significant.
Yeah.
It's still there. A lot of people just ban all water nations. You allowed a single, or they customize maps to be sure that water nations can't just sit and hide all game.
Yeah.
All those various elements of what's kind of wrong with the whole land and water interface. And that's a big discussion all of its own.
I loved how this is played out, though. I feel like the water nation feels like a water nation, like it's sitting here. People don't really want to raid into it very much. You can see they can, but it's been nobody's first choice. And
well, give Pelagia credit.
Yeah.
Even though he had a very late game play, he hasn't just sat there.
Right. No, he was sitting there calculating. He wasn't sitting there because he couldn't think of anything to do. He was sitting, like, everything was part of a plan.
Well, and when he had the chance, he just ate Jotun.
Yeah.
Boom. Gone.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next time. Hopefully things escalate, not even just continue. Hopefully we see things escalate. And we see Olm and Ashdod move, and then we get even more popcorn-eating battles.
Yep.
And I have every confidence Arco is going to defend himself here, but he might not. He might stumble and fall. And if this does become a three-way coalition against him, the kind of pressure he's under, you can't afford to stumble much. And if he loses a few too many things, the whole land front might collapse.
Right.
So it's going to be exciting.
It is.
All right. See y'all next time.
See you next time.